Hello, welcome back to my corridors. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my corridors. My dog just just knocked my camera. Hi, buddy. If any of you have been on my channel long enough, you'd know that this is where I actually used to film videos. I don't do it anymore but I think I'll start doing it again because you can see all my books and whatnot. In my Anne Rice books and all my books on paganism and whatnot. Um, This video has been long overdue and I've been meaning to make it, but I've been meaning to share the story of exactly how I became a metalhead and how I really got into metal, really. How I just really became part of the metal subculture. So, I remember it in chronological order. So I'll just go one by one. So where to start? And I'll be very specific with bands too. Um, I can't really think of the first real metal band that I got into. Um, but I was very, very young. My mother would play stuff like, and I do give my mother credit for the reason why I got into this stuff. I mean, even though my relationship with her is not really the best, I do give her credit because she would always play stuff like Metallica, uh, Tool, Static X, mainly like thrash metal, and she would play Megadeth too. I was like, not even in kindergarten. Yeah, I can't even believe that. When I was such a little kid and I got introduced to this music, and I even liked it quite a bit as a kid. Um, trying to think, it was just like mainly new metal that she would play, or just like thrash metal and stuff. Mainly just like the big four. Um, I also found Slipknot at that age. She would also play like music videos in front of us, like of certain, like she would play music videos for Korn too. And even as a little girl, I liked Jonathan Davis. Can you believe like a 6-year-old little girl would have a crush on Jonathan Davis? I can't even believe that. Um, but there was this local rock station that would play music too. Um, they would play, of course, the '90s like alternative rock and stuff, like Linkin Park and whatnot, like anything around that era. Um, they also played Lacuna Coil, and I think that was the very first real metal band I got into. Um, because I fell in love with Christina's voice. Like she was just something else. Like her voice is, you can always tell it's her, Christina Scabia. I was 8 when I found Lacuna Coil, and they started playing it on this local rock station, and I just fell in love with them. Um, I'm trying to think. Um, They also played Mastodon, and even as a young child, like at 8 or 9, I found Mastodon, which shocked me. I would They would like announce the name of the band on the radio too, so that's how I knew the song "Curl the Burl" played on this station, and I liked that song quite a bit as a kid. So it's fun how I knew that at that age. Um, trying to think. Um, I didn't really listen to a whole lot of like, well, I mean, I didn't listen to a lot of like alternative metal. Oh, they also played Evanescence on this local channel too, which I mean that was a, you can argue they're not metal, you can argue they are, but I liked them quite a bit as a kid and still do. I mainly listened to classic rock in my preteen years because this local channel unfortunately went off the air and was sold to something I can't remember what, but yeah, they stopped doing this channel, so I wanted to find a local rock station. Just started listening to classic rock, but they also played stuff like Black Sabbath and Dio, and of course they played Metallica and maybe Megadeth, but I can't recall. But mainly just like the classic metal and stuff like Iron Maiden and stuff, Motley Crue, which I don't like Motley Crue, mainly because of Nikki Six. I mean, all their members most all of their members are crazy, but Nikki Six was the biggest reason why I didn't like them. But yeah, it was mainly like hair metal and then like the classic metal. But yeah, I liked Dio's music quite a bit. They play his music on this other station that I found because they got rid of my favorite station. Um, I also found out about Sirius Radio too. I really liked Ozzy's Boneyard. I was like 12 when I found this station. That my parents would play that in front of me. Um, Hair Nation, also another one. Not really the biggest fan of glam metal, but I was introduced to a lot of bands. Um, my teenage years, when I was 13 and I moved to California, I went through this phase of trying to be normal. I feel like every person who's like some part of like some kind of who's part of some kind of alternative subculture like metalhead or goth or even emo, ew, but still. I feel like every one of them like they try to go through this phase of like trying to fit in and be normal, and unfortunately I went through that. That's why I won't really dig out old pictures of me when I was that age, because I that was my phase of trying to be normal and trying to fit in, which that didn't last long, and I'm thank the gods in Asgard it didn't, but still. It sucks that I felt like I needed to fit in with everyone, so I pretended to not like metal. And but I still did like stuff like I still did like Judas Priest because they would play that on radio, and Black Sabbath, and still I liked classic rock. I didn't try to listen to pop music or anything. It was just me trying to fit in, trying to hide my music taste and just look normal. But I rediscovered metal again in my freshman year of high school. I really started to really like Judas Priest because I had my Amazon Kindle. I still have it somewhere. It's just old. I don't use it anymore, but it still works. It would play music, and I would listen to the stuff like the Beatles and stuff. I was 14, I realized, hey, I kind of want to go back to listening to the music I did when I was younger. So I found Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance, and not to brag or anything, but I got into Judas Priest before I got into Iron Maiden. I feel like I'm pretty cool for that. Um, so I started listening to Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance, and that was kind of my awakening to um, started listening to Metallica and Megadeth again, and then started really getting into Iron Maiden and stuff. Black Sabbath started listening to. I really liked Ozzy Osbourne too. I mean, everyone knows who Ozzy Osbourne is, and even as a kid, I liked his music. But I really started to listen to his music at that age, like 14, about to be 15, or maybe I was already 15. I was 14, about to be 15. But yeah. Um, Sometime during the end of my freshman year, I got in a relationship with my very first boyfriend. He's not alive anymore, but and it's sad, but he introduced me to a lot of deathcore bands. He and I met because I was wearing my Metallica shirt and we started to talk. We didn't work out, and but you know it our relationship didn't work out, and we were just dumb teenagers and we didn't know anything about love. But um, I mean, he and I ended up becoming good friends before he died. But so he introduced me. I mean, we talked about like metal and stuff. We both like Black Sabbath and Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and just like the classic metal stuff. I liked Slipknot too. I started to get into them, and I liked Evanescence and Lacuna Coil. Um, so he introduced me to a bunch of deathcore bands. I think Thy Art Is Murder was one of them. He definitely introduced me to Suicide Silence, um, and that's how I started to get into them. And I like listened to their music and found interviews with Mitch Lucker, and just Mitch Lucker was such a good guy, and you know it sucks that he had to die so young. And but yeah, I learned the story of Mitch Lucker because of him technically. Um, During that time, also it was during the summer too. When I found these deathcore bands, when he and I started communicating more, because I was on my vacation with my dad and he was still in California, and like we were just communicating before we went back to school. Um, but let me think. I found Nightwish randomly. I was looking up a video of like like cartoon goth girls or something, and it was like a compilation of characters from TV, movies, comics, whatnot. Um, and a song by Nightwish was playing. Years prior, I was looking up like heavy metal bands and cool metal bands and stuff, and I knew about Nightwish because I also looked up gothic metal because that's what Lacuna Coil was. I was still trying. I was starting to educate myself on the genres too, so I knew the name. But this song was so good, and I'm like, oh my god, this is really really good. I should listen to more of this band. So it was the album. So it was the very first song that I heard from Nightwish because that video was Storytime, um, with Annette Olson. Um, I'm probably mispronouncing her last name, but it's whatever, Annette. Um, but yeah, I started listening to more of their stuff, and I just fell in love. And that was my comfort zone for me, listening to Nightwish. I also, man, it was like new metal and thrash metal and alternative metal I was really into, and some deathcore. But I really just fell in love with symphonic metal. And then I found more bands like Epica and Within Temptation, and I just started to really fall in love. I would also just randomly like find metal bands on YouTube and whatnot. Trying to think. I also found the CD store that I've mentioned this CD store multiple times. It was called Rasputin's. I can't remember how long they've been in business, but ever since like I first moved to California, they were there. They unfortunately shut down the place and closed before I moved. Um, but I started buying CDs with my own money there, and I bought Evanescence's The Open Door and Lacuna Coil's Karma Code. Um, those were the first couple CDs I bought with my own money, and I just fell in love with their music again. And trying to think. I also, the beginning of 2017, this was after I broke up with the guy I ended up being friends with, the guy who did introduce me to deathcore. Um, I found In This Moment, and I really started to like them quite a bit. I still do. I forgot to mention in my band shirt video, I do have an In This Moment shirt. I just completely forgot to show it for some reason. It was like in the back of my closet, and I forgot. Oops. But, yeah. Over the summer, I also listened to more symphonic metal. I also just really still loved In This Moment. Listened to them quite a bit over the summer of 2017. I was like 16. I'm 23 now, so you could easily do the math and figure out how old I was. um, like during the end of like getting close, like the last half of 2017, I really wanted to get into some like darker bands because I mean, it wasn't that I was bored of the old stuff. I mean, I still liked symphonic metal a lot. Um, yeah, and I started listening to more Epica and Within Temptation over the summer too. Um, I just wanted to listen. I just wanted to expand my taste. I just didn't want to listen to this all the time. So I found Dimmu Borgir, and I started to really, really like them. I thought I wasn't gonna like black metal or more, the more extreme genres of metal, but I really, really loved Dimmu Borgir. I wanted to get into more black metal, so I tried listening to like Burzum and Emperor, and at first I didn't like them, but I listened to them again, and I really, really liked them because their music was just so calming to me. Um, Near the end of the year, I also went to Rasputin's again, the store, um, and I found some more CDs. I found a CD for Opeth and Monomarth. Found some more stuff. I just can't. Oh, Delane. I also started to like Delane too. Um, but I wanted to expand my taste. I also found Sabaton, and I really, really liked them. I was also starting to get into power metal too. I randomly found the band Avantasia with Tobias Sammet, and I fell in love with their music too. And Sabaton, I just really, really loved. Their music is still to this day, they're just so fun to listen to. Um, Opeth's music I fell in love with because it was just so calming. Ugh. Um, During high school, I also found goth music too, and I liked it quite a bit too. So I was mainly listening to music that people really didn't really care for, but I didn't care because I just loved it. Um, I also randomly found Napalm Death. I think it was at the beginning of 2018, and I just I just fell in love with their music. I don't know why it's like weird. Their Jim Carrey's impression of Napalm Death was pretty much Napalm Death, but I don't know why they were just fun to listen to. And to me, Napalm Death is still fun to listen to. And Barney Greenway is such a badass dude. I mean, that is a fact. Um, but yeah, during the beginning of 2018, my music taste started to really expand. I also listened to more of like Testament. Um, because like I knew who they were because of Rock Band, the game. I think it was the second game. But I found out they were touring with Slayer, and we were going to go see Slayer, and I really started to get into them. I also started to get into Behemoth more. I found the band because they were also touring with Slayer, and I ended up going to see them. Um, I just wanted to check them out and see if I liked them, and I did, like a lot, a lot. I also started listening to Lamb of God too, but Opeth was my comfort zone for a while, and I still go back and listen to their music, especially Ghost Reveries. Oh, you have no idea. I started listening to more black metal. I liked Immortal, I started to like Immortal quite a bit. Cradle of Filth I was also starting to get into too. Uh, as weird as it sounds, but their music also is just my comfort music. Um, During that summer of 2018, I listened to Children of Bodom, Follow the Reaper. But before summer happened, it was still the school year of 2018. Um, Summer of 2018 is when I listened to Follow the Reaper. But like during spring of 2018, I found the video for Trashed, Lost, and Strung Out. Um, I I knew about Children of Bodom because of Guitar Hero. They were one of their songs on one of the games. Um, but Trashed, Lost, and Strung Out was just I fell in love with that song and Alexi. I saw him just playing in his guitar in his video. Oh my god, he was. I thought he was the most handsome man I had ever seen. I felt myself about to sneeze, but and he's still one of the hottest men in metal. I still stand by my judgment. Uh, um, I also started listening to a lot more Megadeth too. I fell in love with Rust in Peace during that time, like April of 2018. Um, that will always be my comfort thrash album, or at least one of the top five. So yeah, I started listening to more metal over the summer. Listened to Immortal. Started to listen to a little bit more black metal. I was really trying to expand my tastes. Um, yeah, I also listened to more Amon Amarth. I listened to a lot. I can't exactly remember all of them, but that was definitely one of them. Funny story, when I first heard the Follow the Reaper album, I fell asleep. I slept through the last half of it. I was like taking a nap and it was in like dark in my room. That's how I like listening to music sometimes. It's just like when my room is dark and I just have my headphones in, it's just perfect. I also like listening to Opeth on rainy days too, because when I was in school, um, and we had free time in class, I would just pop in my headphones and listen to Opeth on a cloudy day or rainy day, and oh my god, oh, that is just the ultimate comfort for me. But yeah, I just especially fell in love with Children of Bodom too. Yeah, most people know that. I also started listening to Death over the summer of 2018. I really fell in love with their music. I also really fell in love with Chuck. Most people know I really love him, and I'm really happy I found Death's music. I decided to get Spotify like the beginning of my senior year. I was 17. It was 20 like late 2018, and it was my senior year of high school. I decided to get Spotify, and that's how I got into more bands too. And they're not metal, but that's how I found the Birthday Massacre. I definitely got into Burzum and Mayhem that way, and just more black metal too. Um, what else? I got into folk metal senior year of high school. Like I really wanted to get into folk metal, I just didn't know how. But Vintroll, I think, was the first band I found, and I had a crush on Vreth, and I still have a crush on Vreth. um, but yeah, I thought he was the cutest man I had ever seen at that time. So and I really started enjoy listening to folk metal, especially Fintroll. Like their music was just so fun, and I could just dance to it too. I found Eluvati, too. Their music I just absolutely fell in love with. I also started to get into Ailstorm too, as weird as it sounds, but I do enjoy their music. But yeah, it's like folk and Viking metal I especially got into my senior year of high school. Um, I definitely got into more black metal bands. Started finding more like symphonic black metal bands because that's kind of the style I especially like when it comes to black metal. I found Old Man's Child during senior year of high school, and I liked their music quite a bit. I still love their music. Um, what else? I found Taka, another band. Yeah, there was a lot of bands I really, really liked. Municipal Waste I also found in high school. Their music is super fun to listen to. I also listened to Suicidal Tendencies in high school quite a bit. I really started to get into them then, and I really liked them senior year of high school. Yeah, so I was like always fluctuating between these genres, and now I was just so glad my library was full of fun bands to listen to, and I would never get bored. I started to get into doom metal. My very last semester of school of high school. It was like late winter, spring of 2019. I graduated 2019. Um, Let me think. I found Electric Wizard, and their music was, I just fell in love with their music. I also liked Sleep quite a bit too. I found Baroness. I only liked a couple songs. Now I've started to listen to them more. Caius, I also like the. Sometimes people say they're not metal. They can be, they can't be. It just depends. But Caius, I found. Um, I especially really fell in love with Electric Wizard. College, I listened to found more black metal bands and more power metal bands too. I forgot to mention in 2018, I also found Blind Guardian, and especially at the Edge of Time, that album, that one, that was my comfort music. And yeah, power. I was starting to fluctuate between power metal too. Um, but yeah, even through college years, I liked them, and I was getting into new bands and stuff. And occasionally, I find new bands and stuff. But I always just want to go back to my comfort music, like the melodic death metal and just classic old school death metal. Um, I also found Morbid Angel, like before the end of high school. They were also my comfort music for a while. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think what did I get into in college? Yeah, I found a bunch of bands. I started to listen when I like my last year of college. I started listening to Children of Bodom more because that was when around the time Alexi passed away, and I was just pretty devastated. And I'm just more devastated I never got to see them in concert. That just hurts. And man, I know I shouldn't beat myself up, but they're one of my favorite bands in the entire world, and I wish I could have seen them at least once, or maybe at least could maybe one day meet their remaining members. Maybe one day I can, but who knows? Maybe I can visit his grave. That that I would really like to do. I think it's in Finland, but I would like to visit Finland one day, not just because of him, but I really it would be nice if I could visit his grave one day and pay my respects. Um, I was starting to listen to more gothic doom in college, like Paradise Lost. I started to really like. Started listening to goth music again, and I still go back and listen to goth music. I started to get into him a lot too, Vilvalo, because oh my god, he is so fucking hot. And just their music is just so perfect. It's always like love music. It's so it always makes me happy listening to him. College, I also found Elvin King, and before I started college, that's when I really started to listen to them, and that's the inspiration for my name, Elvin Queen of Metal, the band Elvin King. Um, and but 2020, I started listening to them more. Um, I also found like other bands here and there, like Equilibrium, the German metal band. They're melodic death, and they can be folk. They're really folk metal, but there was one time they had an album that was melodic death. But either way, all their music is good. Equilibrium. Um, Trying to think. I also started finding. I like to find like very underrated power or symphonic metal bands or underrated black metal bands. Just whatever. It's always fun to find like underrated bands, and I like finding them. And I'm glad Spotify exists because I found a bunch of cool bands because of that, and all the people who introduced me to certain bands and the bands I found on my own randomly, and I still listen to metal. Um, I'm proud to be a metalhead. Like to other people, like listening to black metal and death metal is just they can't really understand, the music and why I would think it's so happy to me. But listening to black metal, death metal, folk metal, it's just and even thrash metal. It's just the music I just want to sit and just drink a cup of tea with and just relax. I mean, to me, that's just my comfort music, and it just makes me happy. Like just this music has just gotten me through some tough times, and I wouldn't be the person I am today without it. I'm so grateful for the person I am today. I'm proud to be a metalhead. I'm proud to listen to the music that I listen to. I don't hide it anymore. I used to be ashamed of listening to the music I liked. I'm not anymore. I'm just happy I don't even care who judges me. I love the music I listen to. I love going to metal shows. I love listening to metal CDs in my car. Love wearing metal shirts and whatnot. Yeah, this just makes me happy, and I'm just happy and proud to be a metalhead. And I'm glad I'm still one to this day. All right, I think that's it. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, whatever. Let me show y'all my hamster. She might be asleep. Hello, Ivy. I shouldn't be tapping on the glass, or it's not glass, but she's asleep right now. All right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, whatever. And I'll see you all later, and stay metal.